You know, we have seen a growing demand, I think everyone in this panel would say the same thing, around throughput capabilities and reliability, latency requirements for applications that our customers are really asking for. They've been asking for it for several years. So when I think about innovative and next generation networks, for us it really comes down to that 4G LTE platform that we're building. I think at the end of the day, there is a demand for the kind of streaming video content, true UCC, fixed mobile convergence, some of the things that I think organizations are working through right now and building a strategy for require that kind of capability that 4G LTE can uniquely provide.
Just from the perspective of a next generation network, unfortunately from an app developer perspective, a lot of people treat the current generation as a next generation network and use network resources somewhat irresponsibly, so to speak. So I think there's definitely quite a bit of work to do just to get the current generation of networks and apps to match up and deliver the kind of performance that end users would want. But definitely very much looking forward to low latency, high bandwidth networks as well as they roll out from an app perspective.
Well, I think it's clear, we saw in some presentations earlier that even to Bobby's point, with LTE coming out in full force and with obviously the entire industry behind it, there's a major gap between what that will be able to deliver over the course of the next few years as opposed to what the data consumption rates that we're seeing and what we anticipate the projections of those going well beyond what LTE can provide. So really what we're looking at is kind of the seamless transition between these technologies.
I think that it's a convergence of seamless micro and macro networks. And although folks are attempting to get the Wi-Fi macro network offload, there's no seamless transition that sort of is there for every user yet, right? So it's a selection, it's a choice, and at the end of the day, to provide the data speeds that the customer and the consumer expects, there's, regardless of the technology, there's no way to get around the fact that you keep needing to place that antenna or that source closer and closer to the end user, right? So that's where we need to get to, is that convergence of devices that are seamless, that go from the CDMA network seamlessly to the Wi-Fi network and back and forth in order to continue to drive the customer satisfaction that everybody wants, whether it's with Boingo or Verizon or whomever. So it's to really engineer and provide a solution that works for everybody.
Moving forward, you want a better user experience. That means better data throughput and connectivity. And what the industry, being out in the RF front end side of the industry, on the mobile side, what's happening now is we're working to bring more tunability. And we think we're within anywhere from 6 to 12 months away from being able to introduce some active antenna technologies into a cell phone that would provide dynamic tuning of the antenna. So for different use cases, when the handset comes up against the head or a tablet is on the lap, the antenna can continue to maintain its efficiency or at least maintain its match to the rest of the system. We're also developing, us and other companies are developing technologies to provide some initial beam steering capabilities inside of a handset. Similar to what's happened on the base station side of the industry over many years ago to develop multi-antenna systems. When you talk about 4G, the big difficulty there is moving from a 3G to a 4G handset or a tablet. 4G is a 2-antenna system now that has to be placed inside of a mobile device. Ideally, you want uniform efficiency. You need to have good isolation between the antennas. So it's a very difficult problem. The user does not want that device to grow, but on the technical side, the difficulty is to maintain good antenna performance and RF performance without increasing the size of the device.
The metaphor that I like was sort of seeing your mobile device as the remote to all the other devices, to your whole life. And I think mobile has an incredible position there. But if the user moves to, let's say, his living room, maybe there's a time and place to not look at a movie on the device, but rather than display it on the TV. It's the convergence in connectivity between all these devices through a variety of networks that is really going to drive the day. If
the user is looking at access to services they like, to their social network, to their data, and they would like to have an experience that is seamless across wherever they are. And I think mobile, by virtue of being one of the few devices that can certainly deal with the fact that you can always have it with you. It's small, and the other part is it also has a strong security component in most cases. Can play a very good role there, I think.